Hi, Machiel. Tell us, how did you come to work with dreams?
I was really stuck in my life in my early 20s. I had all kinds of unresolved issues, unresolved grief, and didn't have a future vision of where I wanted to go in my life. And by some fortunate coincidence, I stumbled upon the works of Carl Jung. And Carl Jung wrote extensively about working with dreams, and so I started to work with my own dreams. And at once a flood of dreams was coming up that at one hand diagnosed where I was and pointed out some unhelpful patterns, that what Jung would call the shadow. So I started to see my own shadow and how it was a hindrance in my life. But it also reconnected me with a sense of gift and purpose, where I could move towards in my life. So dreams helped me climb out of the dark pit I found myself in and provided a lifeline. So I kept on holding to that lifeline as it brought me further through the ups and downs of life, and it really has been deeply helpful. So I'm grateful to the world of dreams and its inhabitants for its support. And I feel that dreams can help all of us live a more colorful and helpful life.
So you are a psychotherapist. Did you find that you were already interested in dreams when you came to that job, or was it something you found sort of along the way and then you brought into what you do?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that a real psychotherapist is a kind of a wounded healer. So it's a person, like in my case, I was wounded and then found some medicine for the wound. And only after that I actually really started to study psychology. So the wounding came first, finding the medicine, and then the education. And after the education and a lot of practice, I was ready and able to go into the world and be of support to other people.
Amazing. And one other question, I'm going off.
You ask everything you want.
What does sort of a session look like with you? If someone books in with you, how does the dream work?
So most people know that I do dream work and come for dream work, but actually not all of them, depending on where in the session we are. The initial session is usually very interesting because the initial dream points towards both the problem as the process that will unfold over time. Both Freud and Carl Jung already indicated the importance of the first dream, the initial point, that also in all kinds of other theories comes back, like complexity theory, where the initial position displays the unfolding of the complex system. So that's the initial session. It's being brought in as a kind of a diagnostic dream. And then in regular sessions, it plays a small part of the overall exploration. And therapy is not just only for the people that are ill, but for anyone that wants to connect in a deeper way to their own being, to their own creative life. And so we look at how can we relate to the world of dream and let those energies flow through us. Because when we do that, we have a sense of being in the flow of life, connected to a sense of gift and purpose that is both healing as creative and gives a sense of meaning and purpose in our life.
So what sort of types of people book in with you? Is it people looking to maybe have a career change or improve their work or find love? Sort of what are people searching for generally?
Yes, and more. Any life situation that people encounter, and it can be grief, being stuck, relational problems, wanting to be a better painter or artist in some way. In those cases, this type of psychology is very helpful. And I see literally everyone from across the spectrum come. From both people that feel that they're traumatized or ill or depressed or one of the classic diagnoses. Yet often these are symptoms pointing to something deeper in us that tries to unfold. So people come in for something, but actually we all try to connect to the depths of our own being and be truly authentic. And this authenticity is a way of being in our own medicine. And once we're there, we'll also be able to provide our own gifts to community. And there, again, we are in the flow of our own life. And this applies to anyone across the world.
You wrote a book. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, I wrote a book called Dream Guidance. And dream guidance is a very old technique in which you ask your dream a question before you go to sleep in order for you to have a helpful response. So this technique comes back all across the world, whether you go to the indigenous cultures where they will say, oh yes, you can ask the dream or the awareness in the dream or the ancestors in the dream for support. Or the Islamic culture, the Hindu culture. Recently the Dalai Lama talked about asking your dream for support in your own life. It's a very widespread technique. And I explored this technique and distillated 5 easy steps in which everyone can ask their dream for support for anything that is relevant in their life. So the dream is really interested in helping you become you, as if nature wants to realize its own potential and is on standby, ready to step in when you ask for support. And it's a very easy method, and in the book it describes the 5 steps that everyone can implement.
So along your journey, what would you say has been a career highlight for you? I'm sure the book was one of them, but do you have another one?
In one sense, the most beautiful moments are the intimate moments with other people, where I have the privilege to be a companion on their life and to share a certain intimacy, to experience the complexity of life and figure out how to engage. Those are privileged moments. And yet other moments that were beautiful in the last month. I had a privilege to go to Taiwan and do a dream workshop and connect with the people there, and also on an intimate level be part of their life and hear what they dream about and notice many themes that we also dream in Mexico or in the United States or here in the West. And then I've been in the United States and in the Netherlands for dream work. So it brings me around the world, which I find another highlight of doing this work.
You say it's those kind of like more intimate sort of personal moments where you've helped people. What's some examples of some ways that you've helped people with this dream work?
Well, people have come with all kinds of questions. It comes to mind a person who was writing a new album. So then we worked on reconnected with the muses. And the muses' natural habitat is the world of dream. And they're interested in living through us, bringing their musical talent into the world. And so even if I don't really have a lot of understanding of music, I could help this person connect to their own creative spirit. And this person, after years being stuck, was able to make an album and bring it into the world. And it's a really beautiful way of seeing how life unfolds. This work really applies to anywhere. Life always is flowing and creative. It's an ongoing creative process. And so we can be stuck anywhere along the journey. Whether that is we're in the dark pit of grief, we're trembling with anxiety, we're frozen by trauma. Life has come to a standstill. And life itself is, at one hand, protecting us from difficult experiences, but the protection is like a wall. It makes us safe within, but at the same time, it's a wall to anything that wants to come in from the outside, so a defense mechanism. And to figure out how life can lower the wall or break down the wall so we can move forward again. And life also always comes with helpful suggestions through dreams on how to creatively move on forward. Because the basic aspect of life appears to be that life wants to be itself. Just like the rose seed becomes a rose and the calf becomes a cow, the human psyche is something initially already from the start. We're an artist, or we're an architect, or we're something. And very often we're multiple things at the same time. But these elements in us, the artist, wants to be an artist and flourish. And so life will give little clues on how we can flourish when we align with it.
What is a very memorable dream for you? Do you have a recurring dream or a dream that you really were like, wow, that's really memorable?
Well, I'm in the habit of writing my dreams. So over the years, I have many really helpful dreams. Those can be really small day-to-day dreams on dealing with the obstacles or anxieties in day-to-day life. And they can also be vocational. So in one dream, now 15 years ago, I find myself floating above the lake of Zurich, and I see Carl Jung's house, the Swiss psychiatrist from the last century. And he lives in a house at the lake, and he's building in the lake a square concrete platform attached to his house. And then I see him rearranging some beams, and I'm looking at all of this from the position from about 100 meters high. And then the dream seems to come to a kind of a standstill. And then Jung and the platform disappear. And a voice behind me says, "And now you have to draw it, identical to how it was." And I find myself in the dream with a pencil, and I think I can draw, make a line. It's a little bit more straight than I think I can draw. And then I wake up. And I took this dream as a suggestion to build a platform or create a platform for Jungian psychology and any other type of psychology that is like Jung, interested in an other world, interested in an unconscious, another reality coexisting to this reality. And so I started that, and initially I created a non-profit. To my own surprise, many people showed up for it. And then I built an online organization called the Jung Platform, where we now have over 200 of these programs online for the general audience on all kinds of Jungian and other world psychology, soul psychology. And so there's a clear example how a dream can be really a calling for many years, now already 15 years.
What do you hope that our viewers and readers, people that join this masterclass, what do you hope that they get from it?
I would love for people to be deeper connected to the sense of their own being, to recognize that their soul loves to help them. Our own psyche, our own soul is on standby, wanting to step in, and always does this already automatically. However, when we turn towards it, it even gives us more support. Like the old notion, ask and you shall receive. In a certain way, the face we turn towards our soul is the face it turns back to us. So when we're interested, it is interested. If we're a little bit on our own, it leaves us a little bit on our own, without any judgment. However, life is already difficult and complex enough. So if we can turn towards our soul and let the soul through our dreams flow into our lives, connect to it, and if people would experience a deep connection to their soul and their own being, that would be a marvelous, beautiful result of this program.